What happens when the greatest hunter in the village becomes the hunted by his own fate? When the hunter becomes blind, he learns to hunt in a new way. What way could it be?
Hello story lovers, welcome to Nana's Fairy Tales, where we share amazing and interesting stories. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified when we upload another enchanting tale.
In a rich African village, full of wildlife and lush vegetation, was a man. His name was Chike. Chike was a very good hunter. He kills the biggest meat. He sells them and makes tons of money. People respect him for being well skilled in his game and for always bringing home meat for them to buy. However, something was wrong with him. He never thinks of getting married. Chike only uses his money to go after small girls and drink wine in the village bar. Everyone has tried to advise Chike about his irresponsible way of life, but Chike is never bothered. Life for him was making money and spending his money on women and drinks. His younger brother has tried to advise him, but he wasn't yielding to his advice. He doesn't even accept that he has a problem. In his eyes, his life was spotless and perfect. Many have told him to start up a family as he wasn't getting any younger, so that he would see people that would take care of him when he begins to age. To all these things, Chike paid no attention to them at all. Chike never values his family. He never helps anybody in his family. Whenever they ask him for help, he never helps any of them. He kept his family at arm's length. He would rather spend his money on women and drinks than help any member of his family. He would yell at anyone coming to him for help and tell them to go and work hard and sort their problems by themselves, that he cannot help them. His brother died of a strange illness. While he was still sick, his wife and children had spent all they had, but he still didn't recover. Chike was called for help, but he didn't even let them come close to him. Chike prides in his hunting skills. He walks down the village path with pride and confidence. One day, tragedy struck. As Chike was hunting, he climbed a tree to shoot an animal. He didn't know that the branches of the tree weren't strong enough. As he was on the tree, the branch he was standing on broke. He fell, and the sharp branch of the tree that had broken before pierced his two eyes. Water and blood were flowing from his eyes. Chike lay there screaming and crying for help. A group of young men hunting as well in the forest saw him and took him home. Chike was taken to a herbalist. He was being treated, but there was no hope of him ever having his sight back, as his pupils were badly damaged. Weeks after the incident, Chike couldn't see again. He sat in front of his home and it dawned on him that it was over for him. No wife to care for him, no kids to take him around the community. His life, like a movie, flashed before his eyes. He knew he was in big soup. He didn't know where to go, who to run to, for even his family and kinsmen who would have cared for him, he never regarded them as family while he was still in health and making money. None of them agreed to help him, not even his younger brother's family, not after he left their father to die. They all deserted him and told him that the same way he denied them while he was rich, he should continue denying them now that he is blind. Chike had a huge sense of pride. He would never beg. He has never been in a position where he was begging for help in his life before. So instead of begging, Chike started thinking of means to survive on his own. He started going around the village with a stick that helps him find his way so that he won't stumble and fall. Because his sight was no longer there, Chike learned how to greatly use his other senses. He would be touring the village and would stop once in a while to ask people where he was. That was how Chike learned to go anywhere he wants to in the village. Then he started doing something very awful. Chike started stealing people's crops and livestock. He would enter a compound and start screaming for help as though he had lost his way. He was doing this to ascertain if someone was in the compound or not. If he screams, he would keep quiet to know if he would hear any response or any sound. If he doesn't hear any sound, he will start hitting his stick around the compound. When he hears the sound of a fowl, he would follow the sound, stretch out his stick and hit the fowl so bad that it can't get up from the ground. He would strangle it and hide it in his wrapper so that it won't make a sound. Then he would go home and prepare it and eat. Chike continued like this. He was stealing from his younger brother's wife, a widow. His younger brother's wife, Chike, would make snuff and sells in the village market. Chike knows where she keeps the snuff. He would go when she had gone to the market and steal her snuff and sometimes even steal one of her chickens. Such has never happened to Chike before. She wasn't sure who was stealing from her. One day, she saw Chike sitting in front of his house taking some snuff. She confronted him. She questioned him and asked him where he got the snuff he was taking. Chike flared up and started yelling at her. "You stupid woman! Have you come to mock me? You want to remind me that I am blind, right? What do you mean, where did I get the snuff from? So I can't buy snuff in the market again. Is that what you mean? You're accusing a blind man of stealing from you?" Maka was dumbfounded. She didn't know what to say or do anymore. Something tells her that Chike is the one stealing from her, but she wasn't sure. She hasn't caught him red-handed yet. She walked home that day so confused. She was convinced Chike knows what is happening to her snuff, but she kept quiet, waiting to catch him. The stealing continued. Both Waka's chickens and her snuff. Her chickens kept disappearing one after the other. Every day, she would realize that one chicken had disappeared. Her snuff too kept missing, and sometimes he would see Chike clean a fowl and cooking. She reported him to the village council. The council invited Chike. Waka narrated to them how her livestock and snuff kept missing, and that she suspects that Chike is the one behind the theft. They asked Chike what he had to say for himself. First, Chike started crying. Then he said, "Does this woman want to mock me? How can I be stealing from her? How do I chase her chickens and catch them? How do I even know where she keeps her snuff?" The meeting went quiet after Chike had spoken. The men in the council agreed with Chike. They began to sympathize with him. They chastised Waka for accusing a poor blind man. Waka went home confused and bitter. She didn't know what to do. Only she knows what her brother-in-law is capable of doing. She went home and devised a plan. She made a cage and kept all her chickens there. As for her snuff, she grinded pepper and put inside. She kept them where she used to keep them and waited for the invisible thief to come and steal them as usual. Chike came as usual after Waka had gone out. He was hitting his stick on the ground as usual, but no chicken was making any sound. He wondered what could have gone wrong. Since he couldn't get any chicken, he went to the usual spot and stole Waka's snuff. He went home, brought out the snuff, scooped it with his finger, and sniffed it so hard. The snuff was harder than usual. Chike smiled and said to himself, "Ah! Today's snuff is very hard." He kept scooping the snuff and sniffing it hard until it dawned on him that the hotness of the snuff is so unusual and extraordinary. Waka was at the market when some children came and called her that her brother-in-law Chike is crying and calling her name. Waka followed the children to Chike's house. Chike was found crying and screaming, "Waka has killed me." Blood was flowing out of his nose. Chike began to confess how he steals from Waka and from some of the villagers. He admitted that he had been stealing Waka's snuff. The blood from his nose kept flowing. The elders gathered and were looking at him. They shook their heads and said, "He won't survive this. This blood is flowing from his brain." And that was how Chike died. Waka was not questioned because she kept her snuff in her house, and a thief came and stole it. They spat on Chike for stealing from his widowed sister-in-law, who was struggling to cater for his children. And so, that is how the blind thief was caught. What do you think about the story? Do you think Waka did the right thing? Do not forget to share your thoughts with us in the comment section. See you next time.